Hello, welcome to Hope with Answers. My name is Brandy and I'm a lung cancer patient and advocate. I'm here with Dr. Triparna Sen. May I call you Triparna?
Yes, please,
Okay.
Brandy.
I am here with Triparna. And as a patient, I am very interested in what clinical trials hold for the future of lung cancer research. And I'm so thankful to be here with Triparna to ask her, what do you see for future research, future treatments? What clinical trials can bring to help us?
Absolutely, Brandy. Thank you for that very important question. Hi, I'm Dr. Triparna Sen. I'm an associate professor at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai in New York, and I'm so glad to be here with you. I think we are at a very exciting time in lung cancer research and treatment. We are seeing more approvals than we have seen ever before, and we are seeing more drug enter the clinic than we have ever seen before. I think we are at a really exciting time in terms of treatment and clinical trials. Of course, the new or the most exciting thing right now is targeting KRAS. I think there are many drugs that are getting tested in the clinic. We are testing that with KRAS inhibitors, and I think that's absolutely exciting that an undruggable gene so far has become druggable. I think that's a quantum leap in terms of lung cancer treatment. And of course, immunotherapy is like a big thing right now. So immunotherapy, either by itself or in combination with chemotherapy or with these targeted agents, I think that would be a very crucial combination immunotherapy. So, when you combine it with not just PD-1 or PD-L1, but other targets that target an immune component, I think those are going to be really exciting and to look out for. And so these are some of the very exciting clinical trials. And what I think is happening right now is the clinical trials design is getting really smart, because the more and more we understand about the biology of the disease, lung cancer, for different subsets, we are considering these biomarkers to really minute granular details. So we have an idea about, okay, this drug is going to work for this subset of patients and may not work for that subset of patients. And I think that's a very valuable information to know where your drug is going to work and where it might not work. So I think these smart design of clinical trials is really going to benefit at the success rate of this clinical trials, or how many patients actually benefit for it. So I think biomarker-driven clinical trials is really going to be key going forward. Another exciting area is combination clinical trial that I was speaking to, in combination with either targeted agents or immunotherapy by itself in combination. I think that's an exciting area. Another really exciting area is early stage disease. So there are many clinical trials that we have seen that are happening in the early stage disease, neoadjuvant trials, and I think there's a real scope there of getting remission to begin with, and to improving the survival of these patients going forward. Because if you can get in early, we have seen from other cancer types, you're most likely to get remission if you can hit it at the right time with the right drug. As we've seen with other cancer types, there are chances that you might get remission for that disease. And I think that's the hope for every clinician, every researcher, is to see those long-term survivals and long-term benefits with clinical trials. Another thing that I would really like to point out is sample collection in these clinical trials. So now, as more and more researchers are understanding that we have to really make our research translational, what I mean by that is we not only have to see the responses in the lab, in our cell lines and in the mouse model, but we also have to validate that in a clinical sample from a clinical trial. I think we are collecting tissues and collecting blood from these clinical trials, which are really the most well-controlled tissues that you can get, because there are a lot of checks and balances that are in place when designing these clinical trials. So these are really clean clinical samples, and we are trying to get in and collect as much as we can to do these translational studies, which tells us a lot of things. And the most important is to what subset of patients this drug actually works. And also, in what subset of patients these drugs do not work.
So they're not wasting their time.
Absolutely. That's the goal, is to get in there, get in early, get those remissions, and then understand as fast as you can as to which subset of patients which actually benefit. But a clinical trial, to the patients out there, to the advocates out there, a clinical trial is really the best bet, because a clinical trial brings to you the disease, the the treatment of tomorrow to your doorstep. So if
So
there is,
how would a patient, and I'm sorry to interrupt,
No,
but how
no,
would a
of course.
patient find out about these clinical trials? Should they look online? Do they ask their oncologist? What steps can a patient take to make sure that they're on the cutting edge with these, being able to participate in these trials?
Absolutely. I mean, right now we have a good problem is that there are too many clinical trials, so it can get overwhelming. I understand that. So there are many avenues for you to do that. Of course, talk to your doctor first and talk to your lung cancer specialist, who may have a fair bit of idea about, what are the new clinical trials and what you would be eligible for. So definitely talk to your primary care physician and also to a lung cancer specialist. Going to centers, that would be very beneficial. And of course, these support groups, like all these organizations like Lung Cancer Foundation of America, they have these absolute resources for patients where you can connect with other patients and advocates who have gone through the same journey. So talking to them and asking them. So a peer group is really, really important. But of course, talk to your doctor.
I agree. Well, thank you so much. This has been so helpful. I feel like we could talk about this for much more time, but this was great information. Thank you, Dr. Triparna, for joining us. And thank you for being with us on Hope with Answers.
Thank you so much, Randy, for this opportunity. And thank you, LCFA, for having this fascinating conversation.